In the Bible, the devil is known by many names: Satan, Lucifer, the great dragon, the deceiver. He's even called the god of this world. But today I want to show you who he is using the name he was called in the garden: serpent. Welcome to Spoken Word. If I've learned anything from my 3 deployments while in the Marine Corps, it's that you lose a lot of people if you're facing an enemy that you don't know anything about. And that it's even deadlier to fight an enemy that you didn't know was there. That's why it's called an ambush. So this is why I'm here today, telling you about Satan. I want to prepare you. I want you to be able to spot him. I want you to survive. He is real, and so is hell. So let's start by talking about his abilities. The first one, camouflage. Now question, can you see the snake? What about now? Well, as you can see, the snake was there the whole time, but if you weren't looking for it, there's no way you would have seen it. Snakes like to hide in places that their prey aren't expecting them to be. Kind of like how people don't think about Satan being in church with them. A snake is normally able to stay hidden until forced to reveal itself, knowing that it will be in the best position to attack you. But as you can see, they have no problem fitting in. Satan is the same way. He understands that the best way for him to destroy us is if we're not aware of him being there. He doesn't want us to see his true intentions. He wants to remain unnoticed until the time presents itself to attack. But here's the key. We need to know where he likes to hide and how he likes to attack. Because the enemy knows that if we see him early enough, if we realize what he's trying to do, it will expose him. And that's when he will be most vulnerable. Eve didn't see his true intentions until it was too late, and it cost her her life, the life that God intended for her to have. Remember, just like the snake, Satan has to get close enough to strike. So be on guard. Patient. A snake is also patient. They have the ability to sit in one spot for hours without moving an inch. Snakes aren't born with great speed like a cheetah or a bone-crushing bite like a bear, so they rely on slow, methodical movements to help them get into position for the attack. They will almost never chase down their prey, and they know that they can't outrun the predators. So they use camouflage and patience to improve their chances of not only surviving, but capturing their next meal. The enemy is no different. He is extremely patient. He loves to sit back, watch, and study. His patience allows him to discover what we like, love, and hate. By knowing this, he is able to discover exactly how and when he should attack. We have to think of it like the information that he's gaining is him positioning himself. To help him get in position, he sends out various tests and temptations our way so that he can see how we react to them. The temptations can be anything: money, sex, drugs, lying, stealing, you name it. How we handle these problems tells him how successful he will be when he decides to go in for the kill. Whether we like it or not, every time we fail teaches him how to destroy us. Infrared. A snake has the ability to see in the dark. It's like they have night vision goggles on. Snakes have holes in their faces called pit organs that are activated by the heat from the bodies of their prey. This can be the most dangerous time for the prey to be outside because, like it or not, it isn't equipped to avoid the snake that's lying in wait. Did you see that? Because it's dark, the rat couldn't see the snake that was right in front of its face. It couldn't see the dangers. To Satan, a believer is basically glowing in the dark, meaning they stand out. The devil knows that you as a believer don't belong in certain places or living certain lifestyles. And because you don't belong there, you won't see all of the different ways that he can destroy you, especially if you're distracted having a good time. Like a snake, there's no mercy shown. The devil doesn't show mercy. In these situations, it's not really a wrong place at the wrong time thing. Like the rat, we put ourselves in places that we shouldn't be, which makes us vulnerable to attack. Tongue. A snake's tongue has a split at the tip, helping it to know which direction the prey and predators are, especially when they are unseen due to being too far away. Snakes don't use their tongue to taste, as many would think. They use it to sense danger. They use it to find prey. This is done by flicking its tongue, which picks up the chemicals in the air that tells it what kind of animal it is, where the animal is at, and even how big it is. The devil's tongue is used to do the same thing. He will use his tongue, i.e. his words, to identify threat from victim. The devil will spread lies or gossip, knowing that it will reveal if you are his or God's. Are you prey or predator? If you believe his lies, then you are the prey. If you spread his lies or gossip, you are the prey. But if you challenge his lies or call out the gossip that he's trying to tell you, you are a predator. He will leave you alone, knowing that if he continues, you will expose him. Because being exposed prevents him from destroying others. That's why John chapter 8 and 44 said that he was a murderer from the beginning, like how he caused Adam and Eve to die because they were kicked out of the garden. And that he hates the truth because there is no truth in him. This is why I decided to make this series about Satan, because I don't want him to keep destroying the people in which we love. So next, let's talk about venom. A snake bite has the ability to inject venom into the prey's bloodstream. The venom acts as a poison that paralyzes the prey, which prevents them from escaping. Sometimes an animal is bit and runs away believing they survived, only to die shortly after because the venom was never treated. The enemy is no different. His goal is to paralyze you. If he can get you hooked on drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, or other sins, then he doesn't have to worry about you getting away. Those things are his poison. If he can get you to stay out of church, then he will have more time for the venom to work itself into your heart. Until one day you will realize that you are separated from God. He separated you from what was meant to help you. See, if a snake bites you and others are near, they can help you. They can chase away the snake or even capture it, so that way the hospital will know what antidote to give you. But if you let him convince you to isolate yourself, then no one will be there to help you as you are struggling to hold on. Isolation doesn't help you to become stronger. It only makes you more vulnerable. And this is another reason why Satan is smart, because he knows that even though you have been beaten, battered, and bruised, i.e. bitten, you can still be saved. But only if you seek help immediately. It's just like sin. The longer you spend doing it, the harder it will be to stop, especially for those who have been bitten but tell themselves they'll be alright. And finally, the snake's body and tail. The snake will wrap its body around the prey and begin to squeeze tighter and tighter until the bones begin to break and it is no longer able to breathe, because it knows that if the prey can't move, then it can't be saved. But the thing that is so deep about not being able to breathe is that that's Satan's goal. Our breath comes from God. When God breathed into Adam, he became a living soul. So if our breath comes from God and that breath is cut off, we become separated from what gives us life. We become separated from God. Now let me tell you what happens after being poisoned and broken. The snake begins to consume, but I want you to notice how it consumes the prey. It doesn't start at its feet, it starts at its head. And this is important because when the devil wants to destroy you, he will attack your mind. Why? Because the mind controls the rest of the body. If a snake begins to swallow you from your feet, you can still see, which also means you can still survive. But when you can't see, you're considered what? Lost. And how can a lost person find their way when they can't see? Now, can I speak from the heart real quick? The devil is not our friend, and he doesn't care about us. And guess what? He never will. Just like a snake, when it no longer needs its old skin, what does it do? It sheds it. After the devil has used us and has taken everything of value away from us, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to shed us. He's going to throw us away. But I want everyone to be aware of Satan and how he may already be positioned in our lives. Because just because you see the old skin doesn't mean he's left. Because a snake doesn't shed its skin because it's changed. It sheds its skin so that it can become a bigger snake, which means that he will be even more present in your life. I hope that this video has helped you to know your enemy, because I promise you, he knows you. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment, because I believe that this right here, this content, I believe that it will help everyone, and I think everyone needs to hear this. I want to thank you specifically for joining me on today, because you could have been doing something else, but you decided to join me. Thank you so much for taking your time out. This is Spoken Word with Jeremiah. I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed.